to finish off, I want to read you an extract from this fantastic book, The Divide, by Jason Hickel, where he really makes this point very clearly. So he says, "A few years ago, I had the opportunity to visit the West Bank in Palestine. On one particularly hot afternoon, my hosts drove me down the Jordan Valley to interview some farmers there about water issues. Along the way, bumping along a gravel track, we came across a huge white sign jutting out into the desert rocks. The sign announced a US aid initiative to quote, help alleviate recurring water shortages by adding a new well in the area. It was branded with an American flag and bore the proud words, 'This project is a gift from the American people to the Palestinian people.' A casual observer might be impressed. American taxpayer money offered generously in the spirit of humanitarianism to assist impoverished Palestinians struggling to survive in the desert. But Palestine doesn't have a shortage of water. When Israel invaded and occupied the West Bank in 1967, with the backing of the US military, it asserted total control of the aquifers beneath the territory. Israel draws the majority of this water, close to 90%, for its own use in settlements or for irrigation on large industrial farms. And as the water table drops, Palestinian wells are running dry. Palestinians are not allowed to deepen their wells or sink new ones without Israeli permission, and permission is almost never granted. If they build without permission, as many do, Israeli bulldozers arrive the next day. So Palestinians are forced to buy their own water back from Israel at arbitrarily high prices. This is not a secret. It is happening out in the open, and the farmers I spoke to know it all too well. For them, the US aid sign only adds insult to injury. It's not that they lack water, as US aid implies, it's that the water has been stolen from them. And it has been stolen with US support. In 2012, just 2 months before my visit, the United Nations General Assembly adopted Resolution 66225, calling for the restoration of Palestinians' rights to their own water. 167 nations voted in favour of the resolution. The United States and Israel alone voted against it. I tell this anecdote not just as an example of how aid often misses the point, but to illustrate a much larger truth. Poor countries don't need our aid, they need us to stop impoverishing them. Until we target the structural drivers of global poverty, the underlying architecture of wealth extraction and accumulation, development efforts will continue to fail decade after decade. We will continue to watch the poverty numbers rise, and the divide between rich and poor countries will continue to grow. So this is what I mean about aid being used as a diversion from what really needs to be done. Western countries can say, well, we're giving aid, so we're doing our bit. And in fact, that serves to gloss over and to divert people's attention from what else those countries are doing to actually keep poor countries poor. All the various neo-colonial factors that we've looked at, whether it be structural adjustment, interest on debt payments, TNCs taking profits out of the country, and so on. So those are some of the arguments for and against. You have to make your own mind up as to which you find the most convincing. And when you come to write essays on this subject, think about how the arguments that we've looked on either side, think about how different arguments fit together with each other and counter each other, and which point of view are you most persuaded by. I think it's a difficult issue, this one. So be looking forward to discussing it with you. Okay.